Okay. Oh. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. So, I thought I was going to go at the 2:30 session. So, I walk in this way and I see that Rinpoche was still here. So then I almost died just there on the spot. You know, in the Sangata Sutra, you guys read? You enjoy? So at one point, you know, these non-Buddhists come to where the Buddha is. And anyway, the Buddha asks the Bodhisattva Sarvashura to teach the Dharma to these non-Buddhists. And the Bodhisattva Sarvashura says, you know, if the Black Mountain demolishes its boulders when it prostrates to Mount Meru, you know, then how am I to teach when the Tathagata is present? So I don't know what the Black Mountain is, but anyway, Mount Meru is the king of mountains. So the point is, any other mountain just pales in comparison to it. So even this Bodhisattva Sarvashura, he feels like, how can I teach when the Tathagata is here? So probably he's a 10th ground Bodhisattva. So then, you know, when Haruka is here, then, I mean, what am I going to say, right? Anyway, we did prayers instead. So, oh well, oh, then I'll I don't know what I'll do. Okay. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so then, but what I did before, I just went to my seat and I just started crying over there. So I was just like offering mandalas, like apologizing. Anyway, now we have a fresh chance. So anyway, let's start in the usual way. Please adjust your motivation. Thinking at this time that the purpose of my life is to benefit all sentient beings. And in particular, in order that I may be able to lead all sentient beings, liberate them from the oceans of samsaric suffering, and place them in the highest state of enlightenment, I myself must first actualize the path. Only then will I have all the qualities, the wisdom and ability to lead and guide them in the best way. And therefore, since the attainment of enlightenment is not without causes and conditions, I must then learn about all of the various practices that lead to enlightenment, so I can put them into practice. And therefore, I am here to attend this review session. And then please think that any positive energy that we create in our time here this afternoon may only become the cause for all sentient beings, vast as the vastness of space, to quickly attain the unified state of Vajradhara, means enlightenment. Okay. So we don't have so much time, well, before dinner time. So what I thought to do is actually go through the steps of the preparation day of the initiation. That was 2 nights ago. Because there were 14 stages. Yeah? Were you keeping track? And if you were, could you name all 14? So I thought we could go through that and then see, depending on the time, maybe field some questions, okay? So in any case, so you all know what Rinpoche is doing here with the preparation, right? So on the days where he's giving initiation, he himself performs the whole initiation, the self-initiation for himself, right? And so in general, in order to give initiation, there's activities that the master does, and then there's the activities of the students. So in terms of the activities of the master, it is doing these preparation, and he does that before we come in, okay? Then with the activities of the students, this is where there is 14, okay? So first is the lugichawa, or the activities of the body. So in that, we did the washing of the hands, washing of the mouth, outside when we were distributed the saffron water. We took it in the hands. And then just so you guys know, not sure everyone has so much experience with this, you're actually meant to rinse the mouth and then spit out the water. So I think some people were swallowing it, which, okay. Yeah. But you can also spit it out, so maybe go away from the tent a little bit, rinse your mouth out, and to spit, So then, it actually says in this text, it's very nice. The disciples are supposed to have 2 handfuls of flowers like this, as they request, And then it also says, with the understanding of the Vajra master being inseparable from, in this case, Haruka, then to offer the preliminary mandala for requesting the initiation. Okay? Oh yeah, sorry, prostration, yeah, there's the chant. Okay? Prostration first, yeah? And then with the understanding of the guru being inseparable from the Yiram, in this case Haruka, then to offer the mandala. Okay? So we went over yesterday how then we can come to see the guru being inseparable from the deity, So in part, that's why I wanted to spend a lot of time with that yesterday, because, that might be the most important thing, actually, of the whole path, is to see the guru as inseparable from the deity. You understand? It says in many of the tantras that, if you don't have that recognition, even though you might practice for a long time, meditating and maybe meditating on the drops and channels and doing all this, but if you don't have the recognition of the guru being inseparable from the deity, no realizations will come. So, and even separate from that, this advice is given over and over again. Many of you know, even from Lama Tsongkhapa's life story, when he was before he took the aspect of realizing emptiness, of course, he's an emanation of Manjushri, so he was already a Buddha. But at one point, even though he had been studying the traditional texts, he had visions of Manjushri, the Buddha of wisdom, and therefore he could ask Manjushri, "Oh, is my realization of emptiness the same as Nagarjuna's?" And Manjushri said, "No, sorry." Then, what then do I do to gain the realization? And then he got the advice to purify negativities, accumulate extensive merits, make requests to your guru, who you see as inseparable from the deity, and then study the traditional texts. So very, very interesting. And this actually has become kind of the hallmark of how we are then to practice, and why so much emphasis is put on the preliminary practices of, purification and accumulating merit. Because, it's like they say, the mind is like the field. And if you want a good harvest, then, you first till the field, take out all the big rocks, fertilize, and then when the field is ready, then when you plant, then a good crop can come. So our practice of purification and accumulating merit then makes our mind ready, so that then when we receive the teachings, well, realizations can come more easily. Then anyway, the making requests to the guru, inseparable from the deity, then that's what we talked about yesterday. Basically, in short, when Lama Zopa Rinpoche walks in the door, you should have the thought, that's Haruka. That's Haruka appearing in this aspect of the, Solokumu comedian, right? And he's come here to guide me to enlightenment. He's come here to, give me this initiation. In actuality, it's Haruka appearing in this form. That's it. So, yesterday we were saying, Rinpoche was talking about this, when we shouldn't say, oh, His Holiness is sick, we shouldn't say our Guru is sick, but rather taking the aspect, So when we have this recognition that our Guru is the Buddha, that's the kind of negative side when we deprecate the Guru. But there's also the positive side. When we really have the thought that our Guru is the Buddha, then even something simple, like offering the kata to the Guru, right? Many of you do, right? Then, you should know the significance. It's not just some Tibetan kind of custom, right? You guys know the significance of kata? Yeah? So then you should think, like we do this in the context of the Lama Chupa, the offering of practice, right? So you'll notice on the kata, there's the 8 auspicious symbols written, right? So when you offer the kata, you think actually, I am offering my practice. All the virtue that I've done, I'm offering this to my Guru. The Guru who taught me how to do these practices. My Guru who taught me how to, accumulate virtue. I'm now offering my practice to him. Every time I followed his advice, every time I engaged in the practices he so kindly taught me. And you think then, I'm offering, my virtue to the Guru in the form of this white scarf or yellow scarf as it is. And then, you should always, whenever you offer or accept things from the Guru, it says this in the 50 verses of Guru devotion, you do it with 2 hands, right? Do it with 2 hands, right? And, most of the time, the Gurus will give it back, but don't wait for it. You think, I'm giving this totally freely to the Guru, It's his right to just say, thanks for the kata, and, walk off. Right? So you're giving it freely. And then, I think like this, but, in the morning, today we did the bath offering. Then after, there are these verses to offer holy divine dress, right? So there's one in this where it's like, with instructable faith, I offer this, and may I and all sentient beings attain the instructable Vajra body. Or there's the one in Nungne, right? I offer this cloth variegated like Indra's something, and may all sentient beings don the garment of patience, So you can think like this, And then when the Guru receives it, right, since it's the omniscient mind, right, then the omniscient mind receiving it, experiences great bliss that realizes emptiness. Right? You guys think like that when you offer a kata? So then actually you're offering, the great bliss of Rinpoche's omniscient body conscious in his hand when he touches the kata. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So then the second part of the preparation, initiation, was then Nechung Ke, which, Nechung is the mind of renunciation, but in general, it means adjusting our motivation. So then Rinpoche was talking about how, in general, the kind of mind we need to have, the kind of motivation we need to have in order to enter the mandala and take part of the initiation. So he was saying, in general, merely kind of letting go of the 8 worldly concerns, well, of course, to just attain some benefit in this life, then, that doesn't even become Dharma practice, right? So it's kind of like, you guys know this text, Parting from the 4 Attachments, right? Is actually, Manjushri gave this to the great Sakya master, Drakpa Gyaltsen. But anyway, in that, Manjushri said, if you have attachment to this life, you're not a Dharma practitioner. If you have attachment to samsara, there's no renunciation. If you have attachment to your own purpose, there's no bodhicitta. And if grasping arises, clinging arises, then there's no correct view. So, in general, the thought clinging to the happiness of this life, the so-called 8 worldly concerns, then if we have that, then it doesn't even qualify as Dharma practice. But even to, stop the attachment clinging to this life and then want happiness in future lives, in general, that qualifies as Dharma practice. Yes. That's the main kind of motivation of the so-called lower capable being. But it's not sufficient to take this initiation. Then to, have a mind seeing the faults of samsara in the whole 6 realms, not just the faults of the lower realm, and then wanting to be free of all samsaric suffering, and therefore seeing the need to be free of the causes, karma and afflictions, that mind, which we call renunciation, even that's not enough. Oh. Now? Huh? Yikes. You're going to give me a heart attack. She just said, Rinpoche is coming. Huh? Oh my gosh, okay. Anyway, you guys know the the motivation. Okay, so then even renunciation is not sufficient. Then we need bodhicitta, this altruistic wish to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. But even, you guys. Okay. So even then, this we were talking about yesterday, the kind of ordinary bodhicitta of the altruistic wish to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, even that, not quite enough. We were talking about the special bodhicitta that's needed to practice the Vajrayana, which is, from your side, you'd be willing, as it says in the Guru Puja, right? Even if I have to spend an ocean of eons in the fiery hells of a Vici for the benefit of one sentient being, may I complete the perfection of enthusiastic perseverance by, untiringly striving for enlightenment. Some thought like that, right? So, from your side, okay, and by the way, that is the amount of effort we should be willing to take on even for one sentient being. You understand? Then when you consider countless sentient beings, like it says in the King of Prayers, limitless is, the end of space, thus limitless are sentient beings, thus limitless is karma and afflictions, may my aspirations reach be limitless as well, right? So everywhere, not just one sentient being, but everywhere in the whole, wherever there's space, there's sentient beings, So if we have to have that amount of determination for one, then no need to mention for all sentient beings what we should be willing to do for them. But now here, as we mentioned yesterday, so every second that goes by, when we're not enlightened, that means we're not in the best position to help them. That means we're not liberating them. That means they're suffering. And so to get this sense of urgency, like without even a second's delay, I need to liberate sentient beings from suffering. And therefore, and by the way, that's why we need to get enlightened, is so we can help sentient beings. You understand? Theoretically, if we could benefit sentient beings perfectly without being enlightened, then maybe don't get enlightened. No, seriously. If right? So you see, the focus has to be sentient beings, not enlightenment. You understand? So since sentient beings suffering even one additional second is so unbearable for us, we seek out any path. Remember, like we're running to Toulouse, to get the antidote for the poison that our mother is afflicted with. But then if there's we see a car go by, that could get me there faster, Then they stop, then, whatever they want, we would pay, Get me there quicker, because my mother is suffering. So with this mind, unable to bear even one more second that sentient beings are suffering, we then search, seek out a more effective means than the Prajnaparamita Yana, which would take 3 countless great eons. Then with that kind of mind, we then seek to enter the mandala. Okay? Okay, so step 3 is the internal initiation. So you guys might remember, I hope, that then there is a part when then from the Guru's heart light emanated, and then we all went into the Guru's mouth, and then went into the womb of the mother, got initiation there, and then returned to our seats. Yes? So that's the internal initiation. And so, we are all family now. And actually, you see, this will come later when the tantric vows are explained, But we're all Vajra family. We're Vajra brothers and sisters, and by the way, then anyone, not just us here in the tent, but anyone who has ever taken initiation from Lama Zopa Rinpoche becomes our family. With great joy. Actually, in the 50 verses of Guru Devotion, a commentary, there's a commentary given by Geshe Ngawan Dargye, who is, anyway, one of the main teachers of my own, anyway, he gave a commentary on the 50 verses of Guru Devotion. And in that he says that we should actually cherish our Vajra brothers and sisters more than our own family. Okay? So you see, can we say? Just to give a preview of one of the tantric vows is not to criticize Vajra brothers and sisters. So there's nothing, just like, the parents, there's nothing that makes them more sad than their own children fighting, right? So that means us here, we're all saying, to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, just like as all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have trained in the past, generated the mind of bodhicitta, I'm going to do the same thing. Then we do that, and we're bickering and quarreling, fighting among ourselves. Qu'est-ce que c'est? So that's again, the negative side. The positive side. In the Lama Chopa it says, even an offering to the poor of the Guru collects more merit than, countless Buddhas. Yes? So what is the poor of the Guru? Then, of course, the attendant of the Guru, even the dog of the Guru, right? The family of the Guru. But it also means all the Vajra family. So it says like this, right? In general, what makes actions strong or light in terms of the karma, right? Then, as Nagarjuna explains in the Ratnavali, right? Then objects that we give to, for example, then become heavy because either it's the so-called field of qualities, field of kindness, or the field of suffering. And we're not going to get into that now, but you can imagine the field of suffering, someone who's a beggar, then if you give them even 10 euros, it makes a big difference to them, right? Someone who can't eat, you give them the money that they can eat, then it means a lot, therefore the merit is more. The field of kindness, it's like your parents. Because they were so kind to you in the past, then they're a strong field of merit. Then there's a field of qualities. So those with, realization, of emptiness, Arya beings, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all that. Okay? So then, again, in the Sangata Sutra, it explains the relative value of these various beings. You know? And sometimes in sutra you have to, because there's these analogies given, you need something to hold on to compare it to, right? So Rinpoche always gives this as an analogy. There's one story of a great king, right, who was able to be born as a king because he offered a medicinal drink to 4 fully ordained monks, right? Then the ripening effect of that is he became a great king. Okay? So now, those are 4 ordinary monks, no realization of emptiness. Okay? So then, that's the ripening effect of just giving to 4 ordinary monks. Then, in the Sangata Sutra, it explains like this, right? You imagine all the sentient beings, or ordinary beings, right? Making offering to them versus giving, to one stream enterer. The offering, the merit made by offering to one stream enterer is much greater. Then you imagine all the sentient beings in the universe are stream enterers. So compared to giving offering to all of them, then to give to one once returner, much greater. I'm seeing some blank stares. Then, anyway, these are progressive levels on the path, right? Then there's the once returner, and the non-returner, and then an arhat, and then a bodhisattva, and then a Buddha, right? So the point is, at every stage, you consider all the beings in the entire universe are the level below, compared to all the beings in the universe being arhats, making offering to all of them, compared to one bodhisattva, offering to the bodhisattva is much greater. Then all the sentient beings are bodhisattvas, then giving to one Buddha, much greater. So now, compared to if all the sentient beings in the world, in the universe, were Buddhas, then just look next to you. Offering to this person sitting next to you, your Vajra sister, brother, so much greater merit than that. Huh. So, Rinpoche very much, he wants us to use this. He gives advice to the centers. There's a very, easy, quick way, for the centers to accumulate merit. Then when the people come, you have the recognition, these are pores of my guru. These are my Vajra brothers and sisters. Then giving even a cup of water, collect the most extensive merit. Wow, 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 wow. Okay? So then, please, we keep that in mind. And then, then the retreat, these little things, being nice to each other, the family, giving, I got already, some pieces of chocolate, some things like this. So nice. Okay? All right. So that was the internal initiation. Then next was the bestowing the special action. This is when he lit the, I don't know what was in there, but then he put mustard seeds. When we visualize that all of our negativities accumulated since beginningless time goes out and gets collected into the mustard seeds, and then those mustard seeds, sesame, okay. Okay. Great. Then burned. Then we have the recognition that all my negative karma accumulated since beginningless time is also burned. Okay? Next, troake. So arising kind of enthusiasm. And here was arising enthusiasm in the practice of the Vajrayana. So then Rinpoche was explaining, how precious these Vajrayana teachings are, that, even Shakyamuni Buddha, although it said he traversed the first 10 grounds using the Prajnaparamita path, then, in order to attain enlightenment, you must, at one point, enter the Vajrayana. So since it's the path traversed by all the Buddhas of the 3 times, that's one. we should feel joy. But two, it's more rare than the, what is it? Udmavara flower, something like this? Anyway, some kind of flower that it is said, it only blossoms when a supreme emanation Buddha, a supreme Nirmanakaya, appears in the world. But then Rinpoche said, it said in the text, that, this eon, they call it the fortunate eon, because 1,000 Nirmanakaya Buddhas will appear. Shakyamuni Buddha is the fourth. So before Shakyamuni Buddha, the others did not teach Vajrayana. Then after, well, Rinpoche said the 7th, but might be the 11th. Anyway, something like this. Lama Tsongkhapa, he's going to appear in this eon as a supreme emanation. And it is said he will teach Tantra. And then the last Buddha, the 1,000th Buddha, he said that whatever the other Buddhas of the fortunate eon teach, I will also teach, so he will practice. Right? So it's like 3 out of 1,000. So rare. But somehow, we've met with these Vajrayana teachings. I don't have time. Anyway, our Chinese friends, there's so much emphasis, this getting born in Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, right? So there's one story, there's a Tibetan monk who made an offering to one of the previous Panchen Lamas back in Tibet. He made an offering. And of course, Panchen Lama is an emanation of Amitabha Buddha. Right? So then asked the Panchen Lama, so, will I be able to get reborn in Dewachen, Sukhavati? Panchen Lama said, yes. Will I be able to meet Lama Tsongkhapa's teachings again? Oh, no. You understand? So, the significance of this, so what I've heard, and there's a couple different, little bit debate on this, but it is said, of course, I'm not criticizing Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land at all, don't take it that way, but it is said that, although in Amitabha Buddha Pure Land there's no true suffering, the tantric teachings don't exist. The Vajrayana doesn't exist. And therefore it is said, actually, there's countless bodhisattvas in Amitabha Buddha Pure Land who are praying to be reborn here on earth. So, I know some people, right? They're so single-pointedly trying to get there, but it's so very interesting. There's so many more that would gladly take, whatever problems you have in life, whatever sickness, they would gladly trade bodies with you to be here. Because it's this body, formed of the constituents from mother and father. Anyway, I think Rinpoche will talk about this later. This makes you suitable to practice Vajrayana. Then if you practice well, those countless bodhisattvas in the Amitabha Buddha Pure Land, they're already bodhisattvas, you're going to get enlightened even quicker than them. What do you think? Yes. No. Not because it's a race, like, then you feel good about yourself. No. So you can benefit sentient beings, okay? All right. So anyway, that was the arising of the kind of... I see red in my peripheral vision. I'm like, okay. So we'll go. Okay. So then after the arising of faith, then there was the donpasung, the taking of the Bodhisattva vows. And then tomorrow we'll explain. Then there is the commitment to then protect the vows and as well as protect the secrecy. And then there was the blessing of the three places, the body, speech, and mind, where Rinpoche he took the water and, blessed our three places, which then, at one point, so in the internal initiation, we arise as a deity, right? So then we had the three places blessed. And then, since we had arose as a deity and had our body, speech, and mind blessed, then we were objects suitable for offerings. So then, the step 9 was then, when Rinpoche was giving the offerings to us, okay? And then he said, importantly, then when you receive the offerings, you generate great bliss. That realizes or is non-dual with emptiness. Okay? Right? Because we're already at that point, Haruka. So then all of our consciousnesses are omniscient, which then is able to perceive both the conventional and ultimate nature. The conventional nature being, the incense and the good smell. The ultimate nature, its lack of inherent existence. One mind realizing it directly, conjoined with great bliss. Okay? Then we had the tooth stick. Lama Osel dropped the tooth stick on behalf of all of us. That determines, it gives an indication that if we practice this Tantra, then which kind of siddhi or attainment will we get? And then, depending on where it falls. So it fell in the direction indicating peaceful attainment. And then we had the water poured into the hand, which we sipped 3 times to bless. And then we were given the protection cord. And then we were given the kusha grass to bless our bed. And then we were given the mantra to recite before bed. And then we were told to check the dreams before bed. Okay? And then that was it. Okay, so one last thing for before my head splits open. But, I know many of you, if it's new, then there's a lot of things we have to repeat, and it's very confusing, okay? So, just please keep this in mind, okay? Bodhicitta is your motivation all the time, okay? Then, at each stage of the path, remember when he said, at the end of the 3rd recitation of taking the Bodhisattva vows, think that you have generated the Bodhisattva vows in your continuum, okay? So that's most important. At each step in the initiation, you have to think, I have taken the Bodhisattva vows, or I have taken the Tantric vows, or I have taken the crown initiation. Whatever happens, okay? At the very least, our translators, working very hard, thank you very much, but they'll at least be able to tell you, okay, at this point, this is what we're doing. So then have the motivation, okay, for the benefit of all sentient beings, I'm now going to take the Bodhisattva vows, or I'm now going to take the Vasa initiation, okay? And then if you have to repeat stuff, it doesn't matter. It says that the omniscient mind of the Buddha can understand what is meant by the mute person's grunts. Huh? So, it's like, okay, you don't know the Tibetan. Then just, even if you're saying, whatever, think I'm taking the Bodhisattva vows, and you're repeating after Rinpoche, Then at the end think, I've taken the Bodhisattva vows. Don't stress out, oh, I didn't say the Tibetan correctly. Okay? Janchu semcho rinpoche ma ke panam ke gyuchi kewa nyamba mepa gone gondu pewa sho. And then, instead of lama sangye, so we can say lama demchok. Demchok is haruka, means great bliss. Okay? Gewa di nyo du da lama demchok drum gyune joa chi hyang malu ba de sala Gopasho. Then also for the long lives of our precious gurus. Kari rawe korowe shimkang de bendan dewa malu jungwe ne chenre ziwan tenzin gyatso yi shabe si de badu tengyuren chi toni ninje sundu jube lam che che se ze kanden ten jugun chana pemo tenzin gyatso la solwa depso shendun lunju sho tupsu chan shin chan gun gelwe Tenzin kyom pewe kunzo don borze chosun kuwe.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Messieurs, dames.
Hein?
Messieurs, dames.
Messieurs, dames.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. I still have to do half. So because I have been doing other prayers, and so because I'm very slow, I told you already, like the very slow animal. What do you call it? Sloth. Yes, sloth. So I'm sloth in the form of human body. So please enjoy your dinner, your bliss of oneness, and then see what happens.